When I started sourcing different options for gypsum, I was fortunate enough to meet William Neville, who is the owner operator of a company called Diverge Business Development. And he's working with a product called GypRich, and it's fantastic because it's local right here in Canada, and it's just a few hours away to get it trucked or railed in. So it looked like a fantastic opportunity. And the name of his product is GypRich. He's got a few different options. That's the granular product that can go through a boom floater or an air boom floater. And then there is the 1/8 minus product, which is a spin spreader grade. And it comes straight out of the mines in Kamloops. So it's a pure form of gypsum. GypRich is a naturally mined source of gypsum from the Canadian Rockies. It is a cost-effective sulfur source and calcium source for Canadian crops. In the fall of 2018, on our farm, we decided to switch from ammonium sulfate and apply gypsum as our sulfur source in all of the land that we had going to canola. We try to shoot for anywhere from 20 to 25 pounds of sulfur applied per acre for the canola crop. And it was an easy transition for discussion for my dad because he was very interested in not having to work with ammonium sulfate because we've always had issues with it in our blend, trying to store it and run it through the air drill. So when I talked to him about gypsum and the fact that it's not only a good sulfur source, there's also a lot of potential there for it to improve our soil, and it's not going to have any effect on our pH. It's going to supply calcium that we haven't put down before. So there's a nutrient that we've never utilized. And what we did is we did a trial of 30 pounds per acre of sulfur applied as ammonium sulfate in a broadcast form post-harvest. And then we did 30 pounds per acre of sulfur as gypsum in side-by-side trials compared to the ammonium sulfate. The next year, it was a great growing year. The canola did, in those strips, I think about 63 bushels an acre in each strip. There was no significant yield difference, which was great because it proved to me that there was no yield loss when we switched to gypsum, but there's a lot of potential for soil improvement while we switched to gypsum. In one of those strips, what we did is the approximate rate was about 200 pounds per acre of gypsum we applied. In one of those strips, we doubled up. We applied 400 pounds per acre. In that strip, we had a 66 bushel an acre yield. Was it that year? Is it the fact that we're actually that limited in calcium, that extra bit of calcium is it having some yield improvement? I haven't been able to have the opportunity to replicate that trial since, but it did kind of show me that there's a lot more that we need to learn about gypsum and what it could do for our soil and potentially for our yields. And since then, that's what we've been using as our sulfur source on our canola, where we just broadcast it in the fall. And then that is the 20, in that 20 to 30 pounds an acre range, give or take, for depending on what our variable rate yield goal is. And that's the application rates that we're going to be going with as our sulfur source for our canola, no longer having to utilize any ammonium sulfate in our canola crop.